Our second speaker is a Toastmaster of about a year. He is a hard-working guy. He tells me he got his first job at the age of 14 and he hasn't stopped working yet. He's always known that when he takes a job that he's going to work more than 40 hours. His parents were hard workers as well, and he feels that only through hard work will he gain success. Today he's speaking on the 9th project in the basic manual, Persuade with Power. The title of the speech is The 40-Hour Fallacy. Please help me welcome Toastmaster Gabe Swan.
Mom? Dad? Anybody home? Of course not. I was raised by a hard-working American family, a Hollywood family. From the outside, they were a success. Their hard work paid off. A well-known and respected actress and model, an award-winning makeup artist. But on the inside, to me, they were a shining example. They were the reason I was able to grow up in a beautiful home in Studio City, able to attend private schools and garner a very nice education. They were the reason I was able to travel and see the world, go places that most people simply aren't able to go, eat foods that most people aren't able to eat. All earned by the blood, sweat, and tears of my hardworking parents. Our country, my country, raised me with a lie. And if it wasn't for my parents, I would have believed it. Fellow Toastmasters, honored guests, I'd like to talk to you this morning about the 40-hour fallacy. The idea that a 40-hour work week is all we need to be able to capitalize and utilize and appreciate all the fine things this land of milk and honey has to offer, this land of opportunity. I plan to show you logically, emotionally, and personally that that simply isn't true. It's interesting when I think about all of the wonderful things our country has to offer. But truly, ask yourselves this. What does a 40-hour work week truly get you here in America? What does that paycheck look like? According to the Department of Social Security, it's about $39,000 a year. $750 per week. What does $750 get you here in Southern California? What does that allow you to buy, to afford, to enjoy, to save? Your 40-hour work week, the company you work for, the companies I work for, determine where you live, the size of your home, your apartment possibly, where your children attend school, the quality of the education that they receive, when, where, and how often you're able to travel. We're slaves to a 40-hour work week, indentured servants with invisible bonds. Isn't it interesting that we can compare a 40-hour work week to slavery, held captive by a paycheck? Yet in the same token, know that working harder, working longer, can actually set us free. What would our country look like today if our founding fathers clocked in and out with a 40-hour work week? What would your skills as a Toastmaster look like if all you gave it was the bare minimum? And the only time you put into it was the time right here and now on a Wednesday morning. Let's change gears for a moment here. Did anyone dream when they were growing up? Dream about a life, fantasize about an existence. Think about all the places that you would go, travel to, maybe the things that you would be. Did anyone think about a life where they were a veterinarian, or an astronaut, or a dancer? Anyone imagine living in the south of France? Or maybe have a home in the middle of a vineyard, touring the world in your private yachts, living life to the fullest. Anyone in here think like that? Have those thoughts? Anyone in here, when they were growing up, dream about a life where they were just getting by? A life where they were able to live paycheck to paycheck?
I did.
There's always one. It's interesting when I think about these things. I can't really imagine a life where I wake up and say, I can't wait till I'm older so that I can take the bus to work, send my kids to public schools, come home early so I can spend quality time with my children in front of the TV, and then hope and pray every weekend that pensions and Social Security would somehow manage and take care of my retirement. I don't know about you, but that sounds more like the American nightmare than the American dream, yes? When did we decide that that was okay? When did that become popular? Why am I talking to you about this right now? Why am I, a younger gentleman, trying to convince you that you need to work harder? That 40 hours just won't cut it? I had a friend call me up on Saturday evening and asked what I was doing for St. Patrick's Day. He said, come on, it's St. Patrick's Day. What are you going to do? What are we going to do? And I thought about it for a moment and I said, well, I need to be in the office. I've got a bunch of phone calls to make, a couple of appointments to run. And he said, what are you talking about? Why would you work on the weekend? Why would you work on this illustrious and glorious holiday? There's leprechauns. To which I replied, why wouldn't I? I've worked 40 hours a week. I've lived the life that provides for average and ordinary. A 40-hour work week isn't a fight. It's giving in and accepting mediocrity. I decided some time ago that I wasn't cut out for the 40-40-40 plan. I will not work 40 hours a week for 40 years of my life for 40 grand a year. That is not going to be me. It is not going to happen. I decided to front load my life, to front load my retirement, to compress time frames, and really fight for my family, to fight for my dreams and pursue those dreams. I realized, thanks to my parents, that these things are just waiting. The finer things in life are just waiting for people willing to work a little bit harder for them. In closing, I'd like to tell you a story from Ireland, about a man arriving at the gates of heaven, asking to be let in. And St. Peter says, of course, just show us your scars. To which the man replied, confused, well, I have those scars. St. Peter said, what a shame. Was there nothing worth fighting for? People come to America